So today, Collider reported as part of, I believe, a press junket for his new movie, Giancarlo Esposito, and people know him from Breaking Bad and The Boys, and like it does some voice stuff, right? Giancarlo Esposito. If he doesn't, he should. Oh, yeah, he's in that Gentleman Show. That's right. Do the Right Thing, obviously. Oh, right, Mandalorian. Yeah, that's probably what most people know from. Radioscope, whatever that was. One of the Maze Runners. Wow, what a career. Anyway, everyone loves him. People have always said that he should be in Marvel stuff, and he's one of those actors that's been pretty receptive to it. So it did seem like eventually he would do something. I made a whole video, I believe, that was a little while ago because also I think they said maybe he wanted to do DC stuff. So I was like, these are the DC fan casts that I was reacting to your ones, actually. So that was fun. I eventually landed on Zatanna's dad, who is a magician. Part of it is just he's Italian, and there's not a whole lot of Italian actors that want to play. I feel like that would be cool. And also I think him playing a good guy is something he clearly wants to do, but also playing someone a little more showy, someone who can ham it up. I think he crushed that role. Anyway, we learned via Collider that Giancarlo Esposito has a role in an upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe something. Two things we know about the role. Number one, according to Giancarlo Esposito, it is a new and original character. Now, that can mean a couple of things, right? Like, for example, I think, like, Darcy in those Thor movies was an original character, right? Madison from She-Hulk, original character. Could be one of those. Or it could be, like, a Trevor Slattery. I believe that is also an original character. Like, yes, he was the Mandarin, but, like, that character didn't exist in Marvel Comics until then. So it could be kind of a reimagining of a character, or it could just be plain old new guy. He seems very excited about the role, but the other thing that he said is it's coming sooner rather than later. And I'm recording this on one of the first days of May. So we are very near the end of X-Men 97. And then the next Marvel thing after that is Deadpool and Wolverine. After that, I guess we've got Agatha and the House of Harkness. It's whatever we're calling that is like the next thing for this year. I feel like maybe Ironheart, although no one seems to know if that's actually happening. Maybe there'll be What If, I don't know. But if we assume sooner rather than later means like maybe this year, well, that narrows it down. So I want to go over some roles that I think could be a lot of fun, roles that he may end up with. This is kind of like predicting, I guess, but like, I mean, we don't even know what this guy is, so it's pretty hard to predict any of that. But like, I don't know, I could see some of this happening. Obviously, if it wasn't an original character, everybody's got a bazillion roles, you know, he'd be fun. I think he'd be a fun Galactus. I think he'd be a fun Dracula in a Blade thing, but they're saying it's an original role, so it's probably not going to be that. And it's definitely not Professor X, which I never loved him for, although I think he could do it. But okay, I have a couple of options here. I'll say the most obvious one, or the most likely one, is he is going to play a variant of someone in Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I think we've got two options here that are equally funny. A Deadpool variant or a Wolverine variant. I've never seen an interview with Giancarlo Esposito where he said, like, I love Deadpool, he's my favorite, or I love Wolverine, he's my favorite. But if either of those existed, I would say, like, he'll probably do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bunch of variants of different versions of them. Obviously, we're getting, like, Dogpool and some of the other Deadpool variants. It would be really easy for him to have a little cameo where he shows up, you know, mostly in a mask, takes his mask off. Hi, it's me. You know, oh, it's you from Breaking Bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Puts his mask back on, does a backflip, cuts a guy in half or whatever. That would work. I think a Wolverine variant would be more fun just because, I don't know, it'd just be fun to see, like, an older dude in that costume just having a ball, doing Wolverine growls and stuff on a wire, doing one small action sequence or something, and then, like, that'd be pretty fun. Another character he could play in Deadpool, he could be someone from the TVA, but, like, honestly, well, I think that's totally possible. I don't care. I think a focus on the TVA seems like a mistake because we don't know anything about the TVA, but it seems like this movie almost takes place before Loki, so it's like we know what happens in Loki, so it doesn't even matter. The other character I could see him being, just because, okay, so work with me here. What we know him from in Breaking Bad, a show I have not watched, but I know he owns a chicken restaurant named Pollos Hermanos, I think is the name of the restaurant. And his name is Gus. He's a great manager. He's nice. Everybody loves him. He's also like a drug kingpin or something who's like the toughest guy you could imagine. That's like the fun of his character, from what I understand. I do think at some point a chimichanga truck is going to have to show up, granting Deadpool chimichangas that he will treat like Popeye spinach and supercharge him at some point. He could be the chimichanga vendor, and that could be fun. Like, again, it's a low impact role, but it could be a really fun role everybody loves. Like, just pops his head, out of the chimichanga truck. Like, hey, what can I get you? And it's like, oh, chicken? No, we don't have chicken. This is a different thing. This isn't Breaking Bad. And it's like, all right, what do you got? Chimichangas? Oh man, amazing. I don't know. I think that could be fun. Again, like, it's a really small role. It wouldn't matter, but also, like, whatever. You get a nice little paycheck. It'd be fun. You get to talk about it forever. Probably have fun, shoot. And that would be, I think that's the kind of thing he would like. But okay, so those are the Deadpool ones. And there's obviously a lot of Deadpool characters he could show up as. If he says he's not, like, I would say, like, the Deadpool could be a variant if it's, like, blank Deadpool, right? Business Deadpool or something that we've never seen before. I don't think it would count if he played, like, Deadpool's floating head or something, because that is a character from the comics. But, like, if it's, like, I don't even know what you would call him, like, tough, fancy mobster Deadpool, what he's known for. And fancy's a weird, well dressed, I guess, or just like in a suit. It'd be cool if he showed up in a suit over his Deadpool outfit, or his Deadpool outfit as a suit. We have a lot of options here. Again, this is all from pictures I've seen of Breaking Bad. Other options, X-Men 97 he could show up in. I did not know that a certain actor who has showed up already was expected to be in that. Like, people were like, oh, he got cast a while ago and nobody knew who he was going to be. If I knew that, I would have maybe put that together quicker. But now it's like, what if he is playing Roberto's father or grandfather? First off, like, I think he's too old to be, like, I mean, obviously it's a voice role, so he can do whatever he wants. Oh, right, he was Lex Luthor and Harley Quinn. That's the other voice role I'm thinking of. He's a little older than you would expect for, like, Roberto's dad, if Roberto's, like, in his, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, 18, something like that. Like, he's Jubilee's age, I guess. So if that's the case, then he's a little too, like, I think Giancarlo Esposito's in his 50s or 60s. But what if he's playing Roberto's grandfather, who was a bad guy? Because one of the things because Roberto's dad exists in the comics. That character is a guy. We haven't seen him yet in the show, which does make me think maybe it's important. I don't think we've ever seen his grandfather, so that would be an original character. And maybe he's like a guy who invented Sentinels or something, and he's going to show up and be like the big bad in the future. Or maybe he'll be like the new president or something. I don't know. I just think, like, I think it's weird that 2 episodes left of 97, we still have not seen Roberto's dad. And that means I think it's going to have to be somebody. And I know people will be saying, well, it's, Giancarlo Esposito, not Brazilian. I agree. And I think that's important. However, I think if Giancarlo Esposito said yes, they'd ignore it. And, like, we'd probably also kind of ignore it because he's just the best. Like, we'd love him. Like, I think it'd be a bummer that they wouldn't get someone who does represent it. But at the same time, it's like, he's Giancarlo Esposito. Like, he's the coolest. Okay, so those are the X-Men 97 ones. Let's talk about Agatha House of Harkness one. He could be some witch or something. As much as I liked him to be Zatara, he could just be another witch or wizard or something that they bump into. Maybe he's the new mayor of this town or something. I think that could be cool. I don't think that's super consequential, but, like, that could be fun. Let's talk about Blade. I think he would have been a great Dracula, but Dracula is also an established character. He could just be a new vampire, an Italian vampire, kind of like the Volturi in those Twilight movies. He could be one of them. Again, only because he is, I believe, half Italian, and I think it would be fun for him to be able to flex that muscle. And he doesn't even have to be a bad vampire. And first of all, a lot of the characters I mentioned so far are good guys, or at least, the Deadpools and Wolverines would be. So that would be fun, because he said he wants to play good guys, kind of tired of playing bad guys, which, fair, but also you're great at it, so I don't know what to tell him. I have a list. Oh, Master Web, that was one people suggested. Madam Web's alternate counterpart from another universe when they make a sequel of that, obviously. Here's one from a thing we've kind of forgotten about, and I wouldn't say we've, like, forgotten about it. I mean, like, I've kind of honestly forgotten about it. It's the Wonder Man show that already shot, so, like, some of it exists. He could be in that. He could be, like, we know Simon's family. They exist in the comics, so they wouldn't be new characters. However, Wonder Man's black now, so maybe he could be related to Simon in a way that's interesting. Like, it doesn't have to be, but it does open up an interesting door. Or at least, I guess, like, if it was, let's say, if Bob Odenkirk got cast, he'd probably be like, he's probably not going to play Wonder Man's dad, but Giancarlo Esposito, maybe. But what if he plays, like, the head of a studio or something? What if he's Bob Iger in that universe, and he's, like, a kind of He could be a doofus, he could be cool, he could be evil as well. He could play Wonder Man's manager, although that character does exist, but like a new version of that. I do think Wonder Man would be a good place for him. The problem with Wonder Man is it doesn't feel like it is sooner rather than later. I feel like that is a later role. I think we'll get it this year. And that's why I think Deadpool is such a no-brainer, and that's why I do think a Deadpool or Wolverine variant would be pretty cool. And I think those would be the ones that I would be most excited about, but also Chimichanga vendor guy, right? Just a truck, Polio's Hermanos logo, but with chimichangas instead. And then he pops out with like a little hat and gives him chimichangas. Because again, that has to happen at some point in this movie. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out here real quick before whatever this is gets spoiled. And listen, if it's not that, I still I don't care. I'm excited for him to be in these. I think Giancarlo Esposito is really, really, really good actor. And obviously, he's got more gravitas than anybody working today. I do think X-Men 97 is an interesting place for him because I would never have pictured the other guy that was in X-Men 97 recently being as great as he is in it. And the only thing is he would need to be a new character, and there's so many X-Men characters. It's where would he fit in? That's why Roberto's grandfather kind of makes sense to me, but I just can't know. Maybe another Shi'ar guy. I don't know. But okay, so 4 guesses: Deadpool or Wolverine variant, or chimichanga vendor, Italian vampire, someone related to Wonder Man in some way, or a member of Roberto's family. Those are all my guesses, and we will see. So thank you everybody for watching, and keep watching videos on this channel and stuff, and I'll see you guys around. Bye.